So I've got a question from May. He's got two of the MLS-1000s and would like to add a 12-inch subwoofer, but wants to know if it's going to make a difference. Second part to the question is, what size of a venue can this setup support? Good questions, both of them. We're going to cover that in today's video. So first we have to talk about where the MLS-1000s are in this actual studio. I do have two of them. One of them is right over here, and the second one is set up right on the opposite side. So again, we'll come all the way over here, walk down this side, and here's the second one. These are my primary speakers that I use every day. Very, very important. Why? Because they're so quiet and they're so clean. Down here, I've got myself an Alto 15-inch subwoofer hiding underneath the desk behind all the equipment. Why do I put it there? I don't know. It was just the spot I had to put it, but it's connected to my controller, my mixer right here, and it's hooked up independently on its own channel along with those MLS-1000s. I also have a studio monitor hooked up to the control board, and then this entire wall comes off of it. But most importantly, right now what you're listening to is the MLS-1000s, and like I said, that's the main speakers I use day in and day out. They're probably my favorite speakers in the entire room for day-to-day listening. They do an awful lot. They have no background noise, and the clarity and quality is as if I'm using a studio monitor. Now, when it comes to size and setup of a space, that's question number two. We haven't gotten to subwoofer yet, but question number two, bars, restaurants, clubs, anything that's going to have a ceiling that's, let's say, 10 feet, 12 feet, no higher, and accommodates anywhere between 100, 200 people. Two MLS-1000s will do that really nice. Lots of people take them into houses, backyards, stuff like that. More close-up venues where people are really close to the speakers because they sound great with no distance between them and the listener, which is really nice. What subwoofer would I put with it? Just like I said earlier, I put the 15-inch. I have the options. I have two 12s here that I can run with it. I've got two 18s, and I've got the 15. I've got Harbinger and Alto. I don't have a problem with either one. I do find the Alto 15 really sounds great in a low ceiling environment when you're using one sub for both of those speakers. Proportionally works out really well because the main drivers on the actual line arrays have a frequency response that are really comfortable with the 15-inch. So it kind of fills in the full range, gets me good deep bass without overwhelming the volume levels, which is really important. So again, if you're looking for a bar, restaurant, if you're looking for a club, no, because a club says the type of music you're going to play, you're probably going to get into full size arrays for that. So again, 200, 250 if it's just for PA use. If it's just for a big talking where you're playing some background music, I have no problem saying go with that. Am I going to do a wedding with that? Nah, there's some people that pull it off with the Electro Voice, the Vol 50s, but you're stressing those speakers out. I mean, there's a certain point where, you know, okay, you're going 150 people with the Vol 50s, you can do that. But if you look at any of the good DJs out there who do have the Vol 50s, they tend to be keeping them for not the big banquet halls, but for the restaurants, the bars, the tent setups, smaller, closer venues where you want quality, volume, and performance all at the same time. You're going to get that with the MLS-1000s, and adding subwoofer, even better. And later on, you can add a second actual subwoofer to the whole mix as well. So, I mean, I wouldn't have a problem, especially if I'm doing a show in a tent. That would be really, you know, because the tent there's no bouncing off. It just basically goes through the tent. So it stops nothing. You might as well be outdoors when you're doing an actual show in a tent. And a lot of people do have events in tents these days. So anything like that, even though you may appear to be tight and close, it's pretty wide open. So two subs in that kind of case. But outside of that, 115 will get you an awful long way. And if you do want to use 12s, then you're definitely going to want to get two of them, because then you're basically just turning into a three-way speaker. You're going to have your neodymium drivers on top doing their job. You're going to have the bass module at the bottom doing its job, and you're going to have the subwoofer complementing the whole thing into a three-way package. And at that point, again, you can run it all off of one controller, set it and leave it. If you plan on not touching it during a show, set it once, walk away from it, you're fine.